Hey everyone, Lone Wolf Jedi here, and I was in the process of doing the Dead or Alive Dimensions review, and thought to myself, it's almost a year. I thought I'd start the year off with that review, start 2012 off with that review. So I'm gonna do and I thought to myself, hey, I saw a lot of movies this year, mostly during the summer, and I thought to myself, I'm gonna do a top, what I consider to be a best and worst movies of the summer. And a lot of people have done that. One in particular is a guy I'm subscribed to, Jeremy Johns. He does every year the 10 best and the 10 worst. Except he does it in two separate videos, and he sees a lot of movies during the year. I haven't seen that many compared to him. I think I've maybe seen like a third or maybe even a quarter. But I haven't seen a lot of the movies that he has. So, here we go. I'm going to do top 5 of top, my 5, what I consider the 5 worst movies and the 5 best movies. And instead of putting in two separate videos, I'm going to do one big long video of the whole thing. So without anything further, let's get right into it. Number 5, The Hangover Part 2. This was a case of, we made a lot of money off of this. Hollywood saying we made a lot of money off of this movie. Let's make a sequel. It's a hit or miss in some cases. In most cases, it's a miss, and this is one of those cases. It was basically the same idea with a different, how should I put it? Different things mixed in. I thought that the first Hangover movie was a great idea, great concept. I mean, bunch of guys in Vegas getting drunk, not remembering a damn thing what happened the next morning. One of them being missing, and they had to look for that one guy, try to remember what happened. And I thought it was a great idea, great concept, great movie altogether. It was fucking hilarious in my opinion. Second one, they did the same exact thing, only in a different country, and it didn't really work. I'm sorry. So, that was that one. Number 3, The Change Up. Remakes are okay if they're done right. I mean, case in point was Karate Kid. I thought it was done pretty well. But then there's these ones that go. Then there's these films that take an original idea, an idea that's already been done in movies, rework it, give it a different name, and basically it's the same thing. This is that case. The Change Up basically has, two guys who have two different lives. One wishes the other had. They wish they had each other lives, and bam, they wake up. Something happens. They wake up the next morning in each other's bodies. Hello, Freaky Friday. Like Jeremy John said, it is Freaky Friday with dudes. I'm sorry, that was just that. In my opinion, it's Freaky Friday was already remade and it was not very well done. I mean, I like the original, and the one with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan was decent, but it wasn't as good as the original. And Change Up, same thing. Sorry. Now the next 3 are pretty close, but they're bad in their own ways, and I had a hard time just trying to decide which ones are the worst of the 3. So let's start with number 3, The Twilight Saga: Breaking Dawn Part 1. Now, if you all know me personally in real life, you know I hate the Twilight phenomenon. I cannot stand it. It's a poorly written book. There's a poorly written book series. It's a poorly acted film series, and it's just completely dumb to me. I could go off on a tangent and explain why, but I wanted this to be about the movies, not about my own personal opinions. But I was actually forced. I wouldn't say forced. My sister said, "Here, watch this." I'm like, I do not want to watch this. This is a stupid, dumb ass fucking movie. I saw it And it was a stupid movie. I'm sorry. There were so many times I wished I could have pulled out a simple card and wrote bullshit and say, I play bullshit card on this. I play the bullshit card on that. I'm sorry. But, yeah, I just don't, it's just not worth any of my time. People might say, if you hate it so much, why is it so low on your list? The other two, I think, did poorly in their own way. Okay, numbers two and number one did poorly in their own way, and a lot of people are like, and some people are like, well, how can you hate Twilight? I do. It's just, to me, it's just ridiculous. It's not a good. It's not a good. Oh, Twilight is not the best thing ever. Okay, you know. You gotta give credit to Stephanie Meyer. She got certain people to start reading again, and these people are comparing her to J.K. Rowling. I'm sorry, J.K. Rowling could write circles around Stephanie Meyer easily. Plus, J.K. Rowling is a true rags richest story. She was a single mother in England, wrote a series of books, and now she's one of the richest people in England. Enough said. So let's move on to number 2. X-Men First Class. Of all the superhero movies, of all the comic book superhero movies this year, that one I think was the worst. Now, a lot of people can defend it, and a lot of people can agree with it. Most people will probably defend it because they liked it better than the Wolverine one. I thought the Wolverine was, it was okay. But this one, I mean, come on. Come on. Mystique in original X-Men? She wasn't even, in the comics she wasn't, let alone even remotely liking Xavier. And, Havoc, like I said, was not an original X-Men. His brother, Scott Summers, Cyclops, was an X-Men before him. All continuity with this movie was just thrown off greatly. I mean, granted, I could say James McAvoy and the other guy that played James McAvoy did a good job of playing a young Xavier, and the guy that played a young Magneto did a good job. And then Kevin Bacon was good as Sebastian Shaw, but all in all, it was just bad in my opinion. So that's on that one. And now the number 1, in my opinion, worst movie of 2011, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. This is a classic case of milking a cash cow for all it's worth. That is why I dubbed it a cow movie, because Disney is milking it. Sorry, Disney, you can only milk a cash cow until it stops giving milk. You can only milk a cash cow for so much until it stops giving milk, or in this case, money. And I'm sorry, this whole series should have stopped with at World's End. I mean, they were telling a basic story throughout the 3 movies, and that was it. But that's why I say this movie was the worst of the Pirates franchise, in my opinion. Totally different story, and like I said in my review, it's basically Johnny Depp trying to carry the movie, and he is not, and he tries, and it's not working. So now I'm going to move on to my 5 best movies of 2011. Let's start off with number 5. Number 5 is Soul Surfer. Personally, I like true stories, and this is one of those really good true stories. It's a story of Bethany Hamilton, how she rose above adversity of having her arm bit off in a shark attack, and she became the person she is today. A real inspiration for people that go through tragic events. And She did it basically through her faith. She's a God loving person, and she was a real. And this is one of the very few movies I actually cried most of the way through. And it was actually very well acted, in my opinion. And it's just all around was a good movie. And it deserves to be on my among my top movies. Number 4, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This movie, I went in thinking, okay, this is gonna be a piece of crap, just like that Mark Wahlberg remake years ago. I was surprised, and it was just incredible. I liked it. I mean, I got past the fact of watching James Franco being a scientist. I'm sorry I can't see it, even though I hear he's working on his his PhD. He actually does a pretty good job in this movie. But the focus of the movie is not on Franco. It's on Caesar, the ape. And if there was ever a person I could see doing CG characters, the motions for him, it's Andy Serkis. He did Gollum in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and he's pretty much anybody can contact him and say, look, we want you to do this. Okay, sure. And he did Caesar, and he did really well. So that is my number 4 movie of 2011. Number 3, The Help. I cannot stop gushing about this movie. I think it is fucking incredible. Why it's not higher? Well, the other two I think did well in their own right. And The Help was just wow. I mean, like I said, I can see Academy Award nominations for a lot of categories for this movie. Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Costume Design, but the main ones I think should go to acting. The cast is pretty much women. There's some male roles in it, but they're like real minor roles. One of my favorites being God, I can't remember the actor's name, but I know he played Lafayette in True Blood. He was a small role, but it was actually pretty good. The ones I can see being nominated: Best Actress. The acting categories, I think it should be any combination of the following 5 people. Lead actress should either be Emma Stone for her role as Skeeter, and or Viola Davis for her role as Aibileen Clark. Incredible. Those two were just wow. Best supporting actress should go to either and or one of these 3. Octavia Spencer for Minnie Jackson, Jessica Chastain for Celia Foote, and Bryce Dallas Howard for Hilly Holbrook. All those roles were just well played by their by their respective actresses. And I actually know this: Emma Stone, Viola Davis, Octavia Spencer, and Jessica Chastain are all nominated for Golden Globes in their respective categories. I don't think I can see, hopefully, one of those winning those awards, but we can only hope. Like I said, this movie, and I have actually recommended this movie to people I don't even know. Random people, like for instance, I bought this on December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, for my niece for Christmas, my youngest niece, because she wanted it. And I was the cashier of the Kmart I got it at looked at it, says, "Is this any good?" I said, "Oh hell yeah!" It's really good. And I asked him, how do you feel about time period movies, movies that take place during a certain time period? Very good. I like them. And the guy happened to be black too. Is like, this takes place in Jackson, Mississippi in the 60s. And he goes, oh my God, yeah. Racial tension right there at the middle of it. And it centers around these two ladies who are the help. And he goes, wow, do you think it's on Netflix? I said, oh yeah, it's probably on Netflix. It's been nominated for some awards. He goes, okay, I'll check it out. So I'm thinking, wow, I got people checking out this movie. Anyway, next up, number 2. Before I continue gushing about the help, I'm gonna go to number 2. Captain America: The First Avenger. Of all the superhero comic book movies, this one I thought was the best. I mean, the reason why I like it that much is because it does something that you rarely see in comic book movies. It follows the source material, and it follows it to mostly. I wouldn't say it followed it correctly, because I think I'm pretty sure there was some areas that were about it, but this movie was just very well done, and I cannot wait until the Avengers comes out in May next year. Whether I have to pay for it or go see it at the theater, I don't want to see it through my work. I will go see it. Okay? The next and number 1 on my list of the best movies of 2011, if you haven't already guessed it, it's Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. I think it was a great way to finish off the Harry Potter series. You had the first movie was the build up to the final battle. Second movie picks up where it leaves off, and we go to the final battle, which was incredible. And it ends basically saying life goes on. This is what's going to happen. This is what's happening. And here's the thing: Hollywood does tend to copy what other movies do. I mean, the first trilogy was Star Wars. People started copying that. I think the first movie series was Star Trek. People are copying that. Prequels. Star Wars again. People are copying that. In this case, Harry Potter is being copied. They took the last book, and they wanted to get so much into it that they wanted to put it into 2 movies. Deathly Hallows Part 1, Deathly Hallows Part 2. Gee, I wonder which film series is copying that. Yeah, Twilight's copying that. So, anyway, before I get off on a tangent about Twilight again, God, I hate that movie and those books. I'm going to actually end the video right here and say that is my 5 worst and 5 best movies of 2011. You can agree with me on some, you can disagree with me on some. I can care less. This is my own personal views of these movies. So, I'd actually like to hear yours. If you can comment below, let me know. Comment below. Give me an idea of what's your opinion of best movies and worst movies. Just let me know about it. All right. Until next time, this is LWJ saying thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time, and Happy New Year.
You think you know me.